The forest breathed softly as the sun filtered through the leaves, casting intricate patterns on the ground. Buddha sat beneath the broad branches of the banyan tree, his robe a tranquil shade of saffron. Around him, disciples gathered, their eyes filled with a mix of reverence and curiosity. The air carried the sweet aroma of blooming jasmine, mingling with the distant murmur of a flowing stream. "Master," a disciple began, his voice hesitant yet earnest, "how does one walk the path of liberation?" Buddha raised his gaze, his eyes deep as the ocean, reflecting calm and boundless compassion. "The path begins not with a step, but with the awakening of the heart," he said, his voice steady and resonant. "I closed my eyes, envisioning the ceaseless flow of my thoughts, realizing their power to hinder true understanding." The Buddha gestured toward the nearby lotus pond, its waters calm and reflective under the morning light. To seek liberation, we must first recognize these roots and understand their nature. The disciples leaned closer, captivated by his words, their breaths synchronized with the rhythm of his teachings. "There are four noble truths, much like the four cardinal directions guiding a traveler," Buddha continued, his tone deliberate and measured. "First, know that life contains suffering," he said, his gaze sweeping across the gathered faces. "It is woven into existence like threads in a tapestry." He paused, allowing the weight of the statement to settle in their minds. "Second, understand the origin of suffering," he continued. "Craving, born from attachment and ignorance, binds us like chains to the wheel of life." His words carried the clarity of water flowing over polished stones, simple yet profound. "Third," he said, his hands resting gently on his lap, "realize that the cessation of suffering is possible. Liberation exists." Like light beyond a dense forest, the disciples exchanged glances, their eyes flickering with hope and determination. "Lastly," Buddha said, his voice soft yet firm, "walk the noble eightfold path. It is the way to freedom, the bridge to the other shore." His gaze turned to the horizon, as if envisioning the endless expanse of liberation. A disciple named Ananda raised his hand, his brow furrowed with thought. "Master, what is this eightfold path you speak of?" Buddha smiled gently, a hint of warmth illuminating his face. "The path is simple yet profound," he said, his voice imbued with both gravity and kindness. "Right view, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration." He picked up a dry leaf from the ground and held it between his fingers. "Each step is like this leaf," he explained, "fragile yet significant, contributing to the whole of the tree." The disciples nodded, their faces alight with understanding. "Let me tell you a story," Buddha said, setting the leaf down and folding his hands. "Once, I lived as a prince in the palace of Kapilavastu, shielded from the world's harsh realities." His voice carried an undercurrent of nostalgia, tinged with the wisdom of hindsight. "One day, I ventured beyond the palace walls," he continued, "and there I encountered an old man, frail and bent with age." The disciples listened intently, their imaginations painting vivid pictures of the scene. "On another day," Buddha said, his gaze distant, "I saw a man afflicted by disease, his body ravaged and his spirit weary." His voice was steady, yet it carried the faintest echo of the pain he had witnessed. "And then," he said, his tone quiet yet piercing, "I saw a lifeless body, surrounded by mourners, its vitality extinguished." The disciples exchanged glances, their expressions a mix of sorrow and contemplation. "These sights revealed the truth to me," Buddha said, his voice firm with conviction. "Old age, sickness, and death are inescapable. They are the nature of existence." His words hung in the air, heavy with the weight of universal truth. "I realized then," he said, his hands resting gently on his knees, "that no palace, no wealth, No pleasure could shield me from these truths. The disciples absorbed his words, their faces etched with a blend of reverence and resolve. And so, Buddha continued, his gaze steady and unwavering. I left the palace, renouncing my princely life to seek the path of liberation. His voice carried the serenity of someone who had walked through the fire of truth and emerged unscathed. One disciple, a young man named Kavi, spoke up, his voice tinged with both doubt and curiosity. Master, was it not difficult to leave behind such a life of comfort? Buddha turned to him, his expression one of gentle understanding. Yes, Kavi, he said, it was not easy, but true comfort lies in freedom, not in the fleeting pleasures of the world. His words resonated with the disciples, their simplicity belying their profound depth. The journey was arduous, Buddha said, his voice steady, filled with trials and doubts. But each step brought me closer to the truth. He gestured toward the ground, where ants busied themselves in intricate patterns. Even the smallest steps matter, for they lead to the greatest transformations. He closed his eyes briefly, as if drawing upon an inner reservoir of wisdom. Meditation became my anchor, he said, his voice softer now, a refuge where the mind could find clarity amidst chaos. The disciples nodded, their faces reflecting their own experiences with meditation. Under the Bodhi tree, Buddha said, his eyes opening to meet theirs, I encountered the Mara, the embodiment of temptation and fear. His voice carried a quiet intensity, as if reliving the confrontation. But I remained steadfast, rooted like the tree itself. And I saw through the illusions. The disciples leaned forward, their breaths barely audible, as if the moment demanded their utmost attention. In that clarity, Buddha said, his voice soft yet resonant, I awakened to the truth of existence, the interconnection of all beings, and the cessation of suffering. He paused, letting the silence speak as eloquently as his words. The forest seemed to hold its breath, as if in reverence to the teachings being imparted. Each of you, Buddha said, his gaze sweeping across the gathered disciples, has the potential to awaken. The path is within you, waiting to be walked. The disciples felt a surge of determination, their doubts dissolving like mist before the morning sun. One by one, they bowed their heads, their hearts filled with gratitude and resolve. His voice carried the essence of the lesson, emphasizing the power of breath to steady the wandering thoughts of the mind. Bhikkhu, the Buddha, continued, the breath is a gift, a bridge connecting your physical being and the clarity of your soul. Walk it with mindfulness and compassion. The banyan tree stood as a silent witness, its roots and branches a testament to the teachings that would ripple through time. Another day, another journey. The Buddha and his disciples walked toward the forest where fear had taken root among villagers. The sun hovered above, illuminating the path strewn with fallen leaves and wildflowers of vibrant hues. I followed his guidance, feeling the weight of my distractions dissolve as the focus on my breath took precedence. Thoughts will arise, Bhikkhu, he said, acknowledge them, but return always to the steady rhythm of your breath. He proceeded, his disciples following hesitantly, their hearts weighed by the echoes of the villagers' warnings. The forest grew denser, enveloping them in its twilight embrace while rustling leaves whispered ancient secrets. Buddha walked with deliberate steps, as if guided by an inner light that pierced the veil of darkness. Master, Ananda said, his voice trembling, is it wise to confront such a dangerous man? Buddha turned to him, his gaze serene yet resolute. True wisdom lies not in avoiding danger, but in transforming it into an opportunity for compassion. Angulimala, adorned with his garland of severed fingers, emerged from the shadows like an ominous storm cloud. He roared, halt, monk! None escape my grasp. Buddha did not quicken his pace nor alter his demeanor. his steps unyielding as Angulimala charged toward him. "Stop!" Angulimala bellowed again, frustration mounting as the serene figure ahead evaded his reach without haste. "The breath is your tether to the present, a reminder of the impermanence of your distractions," he said, resonating deeply, his wisdom unfolded like a lotus flower, its petals revealing layers of truth, inviting us to embrace clarity through mindfulness. "It is you who have not stopped." Angulimala, caught off guard by the simplicity and depth of the response, hesitated, his rage faltering like a flame in the wind. "What do you mean, monk?" he asked, his voice tinged with confusion. Buddha stepped closer, his presence radiating serenity that seemed to dissolve the oppressive tension of the forest. "You continue to walk the path of violence, harming others and yourself," Buddha explained, his tone imbued with compassion. "Stopping means letting go of this destructive cycle and embracing peace." The Buddha rose, his movements deliberate and calm, leaving behind his legacy of teachings for us to embody and treasure. The disciples bowed deeply, expressing their gratitude, their hearts imprinted with the wisdom shared beneath the banyan tree. Angulimala fell to his knees, tears streaming down his face, his garland of fingers a haunting testament to his past deeds. "Teach me, Master," he pleaded, his voice breaking under the weight of remorse and longing for redemption. Buddha extended his hand, lifting Angulimala to his feet, saying, "The path to peace begins with the first step, however heavy it may seem." The forest grew silent, as if holding its breath, bearing witness to the profound transformation unfolding within its depths. Angulimala, once feared and reviled, followed Buddha and his disciples out of the forest, his garland discarded among the fallen leaves. The villagers gasped in disbelief, their expressions oscillating between fear and awe as they saw the bandit walk beside Buddha. "Is it possible?" a villager whispered. "Has the cruel heart of Angulimala been tamed?" Buddha turned to the crowd, his voice resonating with gentle authority. "Compassion has the power to soften even the hardest hearts. It is the light that guides and heals." Angulimala became a disciple, his presence among the group a testament to the transformative power of Buddha's teachings. He embraced the path of the Noble Eightfold Path, his every step an act of repentance and renewal. The disciples observed him closely, their initial apprehension giving way to respect and admiration for his earnest efforts. "Master," Ananda asked one evening, "how did you know compassion would reach him?" Buddha replied, "Compassion is like water. It flows to where it is needed, dissolving barriers with its persistent grace." The tale of Angulimala spread far and wide, becoming a beacon of hope for those weighed down by their own mistakes. Buddha addressed his disciples one morning, saying, "Remember this story, for it reveals an essential truth: no one is beyond redemption." He paused, his gaze sweeping across the group, his words carrying the gravity of universal wisdom. Angulimala teaches us that transformation is possible, even when the path seems shrouded in darkness. Buddha continued, "Each act of kindness we offer is like planting a seed that may one day grow into a tree of compassion." His disciples nodded, their expressions reflecting the profound depth of his teachings. Angulimala bowed deeply before Buddha, saying, "Master, your compassion saved me from myself. I will walk this path with unyielding resolve." "Bhikkhus," the Buddha said, addressing us directly, "distractions bind you because you hold tightly to fleeting moments." As though grasping smoke and shadows, his words were a mirror reflecting the attachments that obscured the clarity of my thoughts and the focus of my soul. Villagers who once trembled at his name now welcomed him with cautious smiles and eventually warmth. Buddha reminded his disciples, "Do not judge others solely by their past. Growth is a process that unfolds through intention and effort." His words lingered in the air, a reminder of the boundless possibilities within the human spirit. Fix your mind on the present, he instructed, letting thoughts and distractions pass, and finding peace in the impermanence of existence. Through his words, I glimpsed the path to clarity, a journey not of holding on, but of letting go to embrace freedom. Live with mindfulness and compassion, and your actions will become the antidote to past suffering. The disciples watched as Angulimala transformed into an emblem of hope and resilience, his journey embodying the essence of Buddha's teachings. Buddha addressed them, saying, each of you carries both light and shadow. Liberation lies in understanding and transcending them, not in denial. His teachings were like sunlight breaking through clouds, illuminating the darkness of attachment and the suffering of clinging thoughts. In impermanence lies the essence of clarity, Buddha continued, as distractions lose their power, and the mind becomes open and steady. Buddha concluded, compassion is not merely an act but a way of being, a thread weaving the tapestry of liberation. The group sat in silence, absorbing the profound teachings that illuminated their path like stars in the night. Another day, another woman approached Buddha, her grief etched into every line of her face, carrying the lifeless body of her child. The disciples stood back, their faces heavy with sorrow, as the woman fell at Buddha's feet with trembling hands. Master, she cried, her voice fractured by anguish. Help me bring him back to life. I cannot bear this loss. Buddha knelt before her, his expression tender yet unwavering, as he reached out and placed a hand gently on her shoulder. Bring me a mustard seed, he said, his voice soft and clear, from a home untouched by death. Then, I shall help you. The woman clutched at the hope his words seemed to offer, rising with renewed purpose, determination sparking in her tear-streaked eyes. She journeyed from door to door, her question simple yet profound, has no one died in this house? At each threshold, she was met with stories of loss, tales of fathers, mothers, siblings, and children who had passed. Slowly, the truth began to unfold, the universality of grief weaving itself into her heart like threads in a tapestry. The disciples watched her return, her steps slower, her gaze heavy but clear, her hands empty of mustard seeds. Buddha rose to meet her, his presence like the steady flame of a lantern in the dark night. Master, she said, her voice steady despite its sorrow, I could not find a house untouched by death. It visits all, as the seasons visit the earth. Buddha nodded, his gaze profound yet gentle, as he said, life and death are two sides of the same reality, inseparable and eternal. He gestured toward the setting sun, its golden light spilling across the earth, illuminating every shadow. Just as the sun sets, so too must it rise. This is the nature of existence. The woman knelt, her grief still present but transformed, its edges softened by the wisdom she had gained. Buddha turned to his disciples, his voice resonating through the silence like ripples across a still pond. Impermanence is the truth that binds all beings, the thread that connects every life and every loss, he continued, his words deliberate and measured, each syllable carrying the weight of universal truth. To embrace impermanence is not to deny suffering, but to release resistance, to flow with the current rather than against it. The disciples nodded, their faces reflecting the depth of contemplation his teachings inspired. A young disciple named Subhuti stepped forward, his eyes filled with both sorrow and curiosity. Master, he asked, how can we find peace amidst the pain of impermanence? Buddha turned to him, his expression one of gentle understanding, his voice steady yet kind. Peace is not the absence of suffering, he said. It is the acceptance of suffering as part of the greater whole. He gestured toward a nearby stream, its waters flowing gently yet persistently, shaping the stones in its path. Just as the stream embraces every obstacle, Buddha explained, so too must we embrace impermanence. allowing it to shape us without breaking us. The disciples listened intently, their breaths synchronized with the rhythm of his teachings, their hearts seeking the peace his words described. The woman remained kneeling, her gaze fixed on the ground, her thoughts a quiet storm of grief and reflection. Buddha addressed her once more, his tone tender yet firm, his words resonating with the clarity of truth. Your suffering is real, but it is not eternal. It will pass. Like clouds that briefly obscure the sky. He paused, allowing his words to settle, before continuing with the quiet intensity of a flame that cannot be extinguished. Grief is the price we pay for love, a testament to the depth of our connections and the beauty of impermanence. The woman looked up, her eyes meeting his, her expression a blend of sorrow and gratitude, her heart learning to hold both at once. Buddha turned back to his disciples, his gaze sweeping across the group, his voice imbued with both gravity and compassion. Let this story teach you that impermanence is not a source of despair but a doorway to deeper understanding. The group sat in silence, absorbing the profound depth of his words, their minds weaving the lessons into the fabric of their thoughts. He gestured toward a lotus blossom in full bloom, its petals radiant and pure, its stem rooted in muddy waters. The lotus teaches us that beauty arises from impermanence, that life's transience is what makes its moments precious. The disciples nodded, their faces alight with understanding, their hearts embracing the wisdom he offered. Buddha's gaze turned to the horizon, his voice a gentle echo of the teachings he had imparted through the years. Impermanence is like the breath, always present, always changing, a reminder that life is lived moment by moment. The disciples felt a surge of clarity, their doubts dissolving like mist before the morning sun, their hearts filled with gratitude and resolve. The woman stood, her shoulders no longer burdened by the weight of unbearable grief, her steps lighter than before. Buddha concluded his teachings with a simple yet profound truth, spoken with the clarity of the river's current. Life's challenges are waves to be ridden, not feared. As the woman left, her story became a living mandala within the disciples' minds, a circle leading to deeper truths. Buddha addressed his disciples once more, his voice steady and resonant, his words carrying the clarity of water flowing over polished stones. Remember, impermanence is the essence of existence. To live fully is to embrace it, to dance with its rhythm. Kindness is nurtured through mindfulness and selfless acts. The disciples watched the lamp's unwavering glow, drawing strength from its silent lesson of resilience. The banyan tree stood as a silent witness, its roots and branches a testament to the teachings that would ripple through time. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.